This is the sixth case presentation in the series of cassette clinics in obstetrics and gynecology prepared by Dr. Mrs. Swati Vaidya of Karnataka Health Institute, Ghataprabha. Twin pregnancy. A 22 years old second gravida, Vidya Joshi, a housewife from Sangli with history of 8 months amenorrhea, coming for antenatal checkup, complaints of overdistension of abdomen, swelling over the legs and excessive fetal movements. There is no history of excessive vomiting in early pregnancy, no history of PV bleeding, leaking or pain in abdomen. There is no history of leg edema prior to pregnancy, no history of scanty urine, dysuria or urinary complaints. Compared to her last pregnancy, she feels that the abdomen is showing more distension. There is history of mild dyspnea on lying down, no history of dilated veins on the legs, no history of bleeding per rectum. Looking for the cause of overdistension, there is no history of induction of ovulation, no history of taking contraceptive pills, there is no history of diabetes in the patient, no history suggestive of Rh isoimmunization, that is, no history of neonatal jaundice in the past, no known Rh negative status. Why did you ask the history of taking ovulation-inducing drugs? The ovulation-inducing drugs are known to stimulate more than one follicle with a high incidence of multifetal pregnancies. And in case of contraceptive pills, the cycle immediately after stopping the pills may have multiple ovulations due to release phenomenon resulting in increased secretion of FSH and LH from the pituitary. So a woman who has conceived immediately after stopping the pills may have multifetal pregnancy. Menstrual history, menarche at 13 years, regular menstruations with 3 to 4 days flow every 30 days, LMP on 3rd October 2009, expected date of delivery 10th July 2010, obstetric history, married 5 years back, G2 P1 L1 A0, G1 was a full-term normal hospital delivery, 3 years old male living child. Has received 3 doses of tetanus toxoid in the first pregnancy. Past history, no history of diabetes, hypertension or any other major illness. Family history, no history of twin pregnancy or pregnancy-induced hypertension or hypertension in the family. No history of twin pregnancy on maternal side. Why did you ask that? I asked for history of twins on maternal side because genotype of mother is more important in development of twins, and if the mother herself is a twin, incidence of twin pregnancy is very high. Proceed. Personal history, sleep is disturbed due to abdominal distension, appetite is good, bladder and bowel habits are normal, no history of PR bleeding. On examination, patient is averagely built, fairly nourished, height is 150 centimeters, weight is 56 kg, pulse is 90 per minute regular, blood pressure is 120 by 80 millimeters of mercury in the left lateral 15 degrees tilt, rollover test is negative. Why have you done the rollover test? Because rollover test is a screening test for pregnancy-induced hypertension, and overdistended uterus and multifetal pregnancy are often associated with PIH. Why? According to the uterine stretch theory of PIH, excessive stretching of the uterus causes reflex spasm of the renal artery. Also, the overdistended uterus causes direct pressure over the renal artery, leading to renal ischemia and hypertension. Proceed. There is mild pallor of the mucosa and bilateral pitting edema. Respiratory system is normal, no adventitious sounds. Heart sounds are normal, no murmur. Per abdomen, on inspection, the uterine height corresponds to 36 weeks, that is 4 weeks larger than the period of gestation, and it is 33 centimeters. Striae gravidarum and linea nigra are seen. Umbilicus is protruding, other hernial sites are normal. What are the causes of uterus larger than the period of gestation? Missed dates, that is wrong LMP, large baby, multifetal pregnancy, hydramnios, vesicular mole, and other conditions like pregnancy associated with fibroid or ovarian tumor. Also, a overdistended bladder not emptied before the examination can make the uterus appear larger. What is hydramnios? Excessive accumulation of liquor amnia is termed as hydramnios. What are the causes of hydramnios? Open neural tube defects like meningomyelocele and anencephaly, monozygotic twins, esophageal atresia, tracheoesophageal fistula, and maternal causes like diabetes, Rh isoimmunization, or placental polyp. In about half the cases, no cause can be detected. Yes, what are the clinical features of hydramnios? Patient presents with overdistension of abdomen. The uterus is tense with fluid, more globular, and fluid thrill is felt. Fetal parts are difficult to palpate or not palpable, and FHS are difficult to hear. On pervaginal examination, the cervix is pulled up and tense, bulging bag of membranes may be felt through partly dilated os. Proceed. On palpation, height of uterus is 32 weeks. Two ballotable round hard structures are palpable on right and left grips, one in right iliac fossa and the other in left hypochondriac region. Multiple fetal parts are felt. Excessive fetal movements are felt. There is no fluid thrill. On auscultation, FHS are heard clearly at two different sites. So, do you think there are two fetuses? Yes, sir. How do you differentiate FHS of two fetuses from conduction of the same fetal heart sounds to the other part of uterus? Sir, for this, two examiners should listen to the fetal heart sounds and count their rates at two different sites simultaneously, and the difference in the rates of two fetal hearts should be more than 10 beats per minute. Why is the fetal heart rate different in two fetuses? Because the sympathetic activity of each individual fetus is different, and secondly, fetal heart rate varies depending on their size also. So, what is your diagnosis? Second gravida with 8 months amenorrhea, with twin pregnancy with longitudinal lie, one vertex and one breech. Why do you say it is a twin pregnancy? The patient complains of overdistension of uterus. On examination, the uterus is 4 weeks larger than the period of gestation. Two fetal heads are distinctly felt with multiple fetal parts, and two fetal heart sounds are heard at two different sites. How will you confirm your diagnosis? By ultrasonography and X-ray of the abdomen. On ultrasonography, we can see the two fetuses, their lie, presentation and maturity. We can also see associated anomalies, site of placenta, amount of liquor, and the type of twin pregnancy, whether monoamniotic or diamniotic. On plain X-ray of the abdomen, we can detect two different fetal skeletons, their lie, presentation, maturity and skeletal anomalies. But the skeleton becomes visible on X-rays only after 28 weeks. Only ultrasonography can detect twin pregnancy in very early pregnancy. What is vanishing twin? Ultrasonography in very early pregnancy shows a larger number of twin pregnancies, but on follow-up scan, one of the fetuses disappears and only one continues to grow. This is termed as vanishing twin syndrome. Is it the same as selective reduction? No, sir. Vanishing twin is a natural process in twin pregnancy, whereas selective reduction is a medical procedure to selectively destroy extra fetuses when there are 3 or more fetuses in the uterus. This is done by injecting potassium chloride in the fetal heart at 9 to 12 weeks of gestation, that is in the 4th month, under ultrasound guidance. Why do you do that? More the number of fetuses, higher is the perinatal morbidity and mortality. So by destroying the extra fetuses, the outcome of other remaining fetuses improves. So in multifetal pregnancies after assisted reproductive techniques like IVF, selective reduction is done to limit the number of fetuses growing in the uterus. In twin pregnancy, how do the fetuses lie in the uterus? Usually both fetuses lie longitudinally. The commonest is both vertex. Second common is first vertex and second breach. They may also present as first breach, second vertex or both breach, and rarely the second twin may lie in a transverse position. What are the two types of twins? Monozygotic or uniovular and dizygotic or biovular. Monozygotic twin develops after division of a single fertilized ovum, and dizygotic twin develops from fertilization of two different ova. Which is more common? Dizygotic. About 75% of twins are dizygotic. What is superfetation and superfecundation? Sir, it is a theory for genesis of twin pregnancy. Superfetation means fertilization of two ova in two different cycles, and superfecundation means fertilization of two ova in the same cycle but in two different acts of coitus. What is the incidence of twin pregnancy? Twin pregnancy occurs in 1 in 80 to 1 in 90 pregnancies, but the frequency varies in different countries, being greater in cold climates. What is Helin's law? Sir, Helin's law is a formula for the incidence of multifetal pregnancies. The occurrence of twins is 1 in 80, triplets is 1 in 80 square, quadruplets is 1 in 80 raised to 3, and so on. Is the Helin's law applicable now? No, sir, because ovulation inducing drugs and in vitro fertilization techniques for infertility are used very commonly nowadays, and they have a very high incidence of multiple pregnancies. So in this situation, the Helin's law does not apply. What are the factors influencing the incidence of multifetal pregnancies? Sir, the incidence of monozygotic twins is constant throughout the world at 1 in 250. But that of dizygotic twins is influenced by several factors. Number 1, race. The incidence of twins is very high in African races. Secondly, heredity, particularly depending on the genotype of the mother. Then maternal age and parity. The incidence of twins increases with multiparity and with advancing age. And in the present era, iatrogenic factors like ovulation-inducing drugs and assisted reproduction techniques. How does a uniovular twin develop? By division of a single fertilized ovum. So the babies will be of the same sex, same blood group, and immunologically competent. If the fission takes place immediately after fertilization, that is before inner cell mass develops, then dichorionic diamniotic twin develops. If the fission takes place between 4 to 8 days of fertilization, then monochorionic diamniotic twin develops. And if the fission takes place after 8 days, monochorionic monoamniotic twins develop. If the fission occurs very late, that is after 15 days, then incomplete division takes place, leading to conjoined twins or Siamese twins. Do you know the different types of conjoined twins? Depending on the attachment of their organs, they are called as thoracopagus, craniopagus, or pyopagus. What is the effect of twin pregnancy on the fetus? Sir, twin fetuses are smaller and lighter than single fetuses. Also, there is higher incidence of fetal malformations and prematurity. Sometimes one fetus is larger than the other due to feto-fetal transfusion. That is, there is transfusion of blood from one fetus to the other, leading to one fetus being larger, polycythemic, and having organomegaly, while the other is pale and growth retarded. Due to twin transfusion, chimerism can occur. What is chimerism? In biovular twins, due to transfusion of cells from one fetus to the other in early pregnancy, the fetus may show two different cell lines karyotypically. This phenomenon is termed as chimerism. Occasionally, one fetus may die and become compressed, sometimes paper thin, called as fetus papyraceous or fetus compressus. Now tell me, what is the effect of the twins on the pregnancy? All the physiological changes due to pregnancy are exaggerated in twin pregnancy. For example, increased plasma volume leading to increased hydremia and anemia and exaggerated morning sickness. Secondly, over-distended uterus causes pressure symptoms like edema over the legs, varicosities, piles, and breathlessness on lying down. Thirdly, there are higher chances of pregnancy-induced hypertension, abortions or preterm deliveries, hydramnios, placenta previa, and antepartum or postpartum hemorrhage. What is the effect of the twins on the course of labor? In twin pregnancy, the labor usually starts 2 weeks earlier than in a normal pregnancy. There is no difficulty in dilatation and effacement of the cervix, and the first stage of labor is short due to overstretching of the uterus. But there are higher chances of early rupture of membranes and cord prolapse. The second stage is not prolonged as the fetuses are smaller, but malpresentations, particularly of the second twin, are common. Very rarely, twin locking may occur in monoamniotic twins. The complications of the third stage are more common in twin pregnancy, like postpartum hemorrhage, retained placenta, and shock. What is twin locking? Due to smaller size of the first fetus in comparison to the pelvis, a part of the second fetus also tries to enter the pelvis simultaneously. This leads to either interlocking, concussion, or impaction of the twins. What is the effect of twin labor on the fetuses? The first fetus delivers spontaneously without much risk, but perinatal mortality is higher in the second twin. Why? Because the second twin is exposed to uterine inertia, abruptio placentae due to sudden reduction in the size of the uterus, premature rupture of membranes, cord prolapse, abnormal presentations like transverse lie, and aspiration pneumonitis. Considering all these hazards during labor, how will you manage this case? The principles of management are prevention of preterm labor, prevention of fetal trauma during labor, and a good neonatal care. I will ask the patient to come for regular checkup every month in the first 2 trimesters and every fortnight in the 3rd trimester. During every visit, I will check her hemoglobin, urine, blood pressure, weight gain, and height of the uterus. I will give additional supplements of iron and vitamins from the first trimester to meet the increased requirements. I will do ultrasonography to rule out fetal anomalies, placenta previa, and hydramnios. I will hospitalize the patient after 32 weeks, give complete bed rest in head-low position, and prescribe uterine relaxants. Why do you want to admit her early in the 8th month? In an attempt to prevent onset of premature labor, I will hospitalize the patient, give complete bed rest in head-low position, and prescribe uterine relaxants. How will you manage twin labor? In the first stage, I will keep the patient lying down to avoid premature rupture of membranes and cord prolapse. I will confirm the position of the fetuses and the fetal heart sounds. I will keep a functioning intravenous line and make arrangements for blood transfusion and neonatal resuscitation care. In the second stage, I will constantly watch for cord prolapse, and at the time of delivery of the head, I will give an episiotomy to avoid compression of the premature fetal head. After delivery of the first fetus, I will clamp the cord immediately to avoid exsanguination of the second fetus. And I will not give ergometrin after the delivery of the first fetus. Now I will auscultate the FHS and confirm the presentation of the second fetus. Generally, uterine contractions return after 15 to 20 minutes. If not, I will start oxytocin, that is syntocinon drip of 2 units in 500 ml of 5% dextrose, and do an artificial rupture of the membranes. If the baby lies in transverse position, I will do internal podalyc version followed by breech extraction. If the lie is longitudinal, either vertex or breech, I will await spontaneous delivery, assisting to hasten the second stage. Yes, why are we always more worried about the second baby? because the second twin is at a greater risk of asphyxia and malpresentations. There are high chances of cord prolapse, excessive bleeding after delivery of the first baby, and abruptio placentae. In the third stage, though the two placentae are separate, both deliver after the delivery of the second twin. I will give IV ergometrin after the delivery of the head of the second twin and observe the patient for postpartum hemorrhage. Why is PPH more common in twin pregnancy? Due to uterine overdistension, which causes atony after delivery. And secondly, the placenta is large, double the size. It takes more time to separate and sinuses are opened over a much larger area. Also, associated anemia and pregnancy-induced hypertension may also contribute to PPH. So after the delivery of the head of second twin, I will give IV ergometrin, IM prostaglandin and IV syntocinon drip for 1 to 2 hours. After delivery, is it possible to identify uniovular and biovular twins? In uniovular twins, sex, blood group RH of both the babies are same and both are immunologically compatible with each other. How do you deliver Siamese twins? If diagnosed late in labor due to obstructed labor, a destructive operation should be performed. If diagnosed antenatally and if surgical facilities are available to separate the conjoined twins, elective caesarean section should be done to save the child. How do you diagnose the Siamese twins antenatally? On ultrasonography, they show continuous skin lining, same relative position or face-to-face relation, and same relative levels of both fetuses. Good. Thank you, sir. This is the end of the 6th case presentation in obstetrics and gynecology on twin pregnancy.